Hello and welcome to Engine Adventures review of this 2024 Lexus GX. This is the Overtrail Plus. They call it a 550, but whatever, they're all GX 550s now. So Lexus GX, and it is an excellent vehicle all around. It's powered by the twin turbo V6 3.4 liter, but it's not quite the same as the engine in the Tundra, the Sequoia, the Lexus LX, the Lexus LS. This one has a little bit smaller turbos, I think smaller anyway. They spool up faster. You lose out on peak horsepower. This one comes in at 349, whereas the others are in the 409 range. Hybrids probably add a little bit to that, but the non-hybrid versions are up there above 400 horsepower. So in this one, you're down a bit on horsepower, but the drivability is that much better. I would take this over the engine in the other vehicles mentioned, especially in a luxury use case. For example, the LS and the LX from Lexus, both of those have really bad turbo lag off the line, and it makes it feel not as luxurious. You've got to rev the engine a little bit to get it going, which for me is annoying. It shouldn't have to do that. So anyway, in the GX, you don't have those issues. It actually runs really well, accelerates off the line, jumps off the line, if you will, really gets to moving. You don't have to worry about revving it really high. When you're cruising on the freeway, give it a little extra throttle. It doesn't need to downshift. It'll accelerate away. A few things here, since we're already up here. Not fog lights. These are another set of driving lights. They can't be on. If your headlights are off, you can't have the fog lights on. They are nice. It does have the corner lamps as well, so as you turn, it'll it'll illuminate the sides. And we might as well look under the hood. I have it on right now. I'm gonna leave it on, so it might be a little noisy. But one thing on this hood is, let's see if this shows up on the camera, but it's a little bit shaky, and I didn't notice it today on the freeway, but some days I really see it on the freeway, and you can see the hood just kind of waffling or wavering there and get the reflection off of it. It's not that big of a deal. The Land Cruiser, for whatever reason, wasn't doing that, but this one it sure does. Normally doesn't bother me. If I do see it, it's okay. So anyway, here's the twin turbo V6. It's got separate air boxes, separate turbos down there, which you're probably not gonna be able to see. Anyway, it's pretty tightly packaged, but if you take all the plastic off, you can see in there fairly easily. And I do like that the non-hybrid version has much better storage in the back. So if you get the hybrid, your load floor is up, and I don't like having that extra ledge in here. You do have, I think in the hybrid, you still have some of this storage under there. And the hybrid, your 12-volt batteries right there, so it's a little better here. You get a little extra storage. That's good. And then here's the jack. So all the tire changing tools and stuff are down there or in the jack. Interesting thing, the Overtrail Plus, you don't get rear seats at all. You do get rear seat cup holders, and in some of them you actually have power outlets there, which isn't actually a bad idea. So you could charge devices or whatever. Everything runs off of USB-C now, it seems like, so you could have stuff charging back here while you're driving. And then of course you've got the outlet there. Yeah, there's not a lot going on back here. I do like it. It's without the back seats in here, you have a good amount of space. If you do need to fold them, you can reach up there and fold it from here. I think I've got stuff on there, so I won't do that. Adjustable height on the hatch, all the normal stuff. I do prefer this hatch to the big old swing gate on the old one, and actually I did that the wrong way, so it was on the wrong side. So if you're loading from the curb, you have to open it this way and block your access to it for the US market. In the previous GX, it is sad they no longer offer a tailgate for the LX or the Land Cruiser. Everything's got a lift gate now, and they could have done something where it was half lift gate, half tailgate like they had done in the past, but anyway, they went away from that. Moving up here, we'll pop the fuel door, which is here. So it's really designed, I think, for worldwide markets where you'll have a diesel exhaust fluid port there as well to fill up, but not bad. And I guess before we get inside, again, This one came equipped with the rock rails and roof rack, and I'll talk about later on, but I wish this roof rack were down at this level. You get a decent amount of wind noise coming up over this, and if they had designed it, because this is a factory option, if they had designed it so it sat down at this level instead of like having this mount, remove this mount, or these mounts rather, and just have the roof rack mount directly to those spots, it would have been a much quieter, maybe more aerodynamic feature. Window shades back here, heated seats on the outboard 2 seats. It's pretty comfortable. It's not anything super fancy, but it's not bad at all. Apparently someone had some beef jerky in there, huh? Anyway, it does have car seat anchors, and you can fit 2, but I would not, sorry for the weird angle there, I would not try and fit 3 car seats across. Even just putting a booster seat here in the middle, like, it's really narrow between those 2, and so it was pretty hard to fit the booster seat in the middle. Not something I would recommend. It does have, I don't know, yeah, it is showing up on camera pretty well, probably better on camera than in my vision, but you can see the green inside of there. So it does have green accents, so black, green, and tan, and it's kind of weird. The green is like a suede, the black's like a smooth leather, and then you have the perforated on the tan, and that's only on the front seats, as you can see there. Of course you have lights up there and a moonroof, but you don't get the full panoramic moonroof, which I think would be a good option. This thing is fairly roomy. Driver seats set at the distance I would set it. I'm 5'10". I have a decent amount of space there, so I'm not too worried. I also have decent headroom here. There's a good like 5 or 6 inches above my head. So overall, it is pretty roomy back here. But having the full panoramic moonroof or sunroof makes it open up and feel more airy, which can be nice for backseat passengers. Yeah, anyway, I think we're good there. We can fold the seat to show you, which maybe I should have done before. Well, there's a handle right here as well, but you can fold the seats like this, and you have like a little drop down here, and then comes up to the seat. If you leave the seat like that, then there's a big ledge right here. I don't know how well that's showing up, but the floor is all the way down here, and the back seat there. So it doesn't have the smoothest, flattest load floor, but it's not awful either. And the rear seats do recline. You can adjust how much they are reclined on there. Okay, moving up front. Did I talk about the tires at all? Toyo tires. These are Open Country ATs. They are 3-peak snowflake and mud and snow rated. They are 265/70 R18s, which equates to, I think, a 33. I'll put that up on the screen just to make sure, but it does have a lighted sill plate here, so that will light up at night, which is nice. And let's take a look here. 1,545 pounds of payload, minus 151, so you're 1,400, just under that. But not bad. The Land Cruiser was 1,100 pounds of payload, minus about the same, 150 or 160, something like that. And so you were below 1,000 pounds of payload in the Land Cruiser, whereas this is quite a bit higher. And the total gross vehicle weight is higher on this, 7,165, which makes it, like I said, it can tow a little more, has a higher payload. Overall, it's just got a little bit more capability for loads when compared to the Land Cruiser. Move some of my stuff a little bit here. So we have the phone charger right there. You can see it's charging, and actually I don't even know if it is. I think it should be yellow if it's charging. Can't remember. Anyway, it's got this little notch on the corner, and it makes it just so my phone doesn't quite fit. I don't know if they could have designed it a little differently. I think having this be square underneath there and having an overhang maybe would have been better. iPhones also wouldn't fit in there. So it's not, yeah, that's charging there. So anyway, it's not my favorite. Another thing that's not my favorite is the cool box, because you lose out on a lot of space in there. Yes, I can fit a full water bottle because of the notch in the lid, but it's not my favorite thing. I would rather have more space in the center console. This thing nice, if you want to close it, have a little spot there. And then you have 12 volt outlet there. I don't think this lower one opens at all. And then you have USB that's just power only. Both these are USB-Cs. The one on the right will connect to the infotainment system. Lexus infotainment system's not as bad as it used to be. It's still not my favorite, but yeah, I've enjoyed it here. I do miss the physical buttons in the Land Cruiser, so all of this on the bottom is a screen that just stays there the whole time. I mean, if you can change it if you want to, but anyway, it stays here for all your climate control, but it is a touch screen, and obviously you can adjust the temperatures there. Heated and cooled seats, or heated and ventilated, heated steering wheel, all that kind of stuff. But if it's gonna be up all the time anyway, I would just prefer physical buttons. And there are some for important features like your defrost, and then always you have to have the flashers. Thankfully that one's mandated, so they can't hide your flashers 12 screens deep, but I much prefer physical buttons, and this has an okay amount. It's not, honestly, not bad at all, but yeah, I mean, screens are good, and if you're gonna do screens, this is a good way to do it. Push button starts all the way up here on the top. Surround view cameras, which I'm not moving, I'm not in drive, so it's gonna do a funky thing. And then down here is the trailer brake controller with the gain adjustment underneath. Over here are your drive modes, and you just turn that dial to select them. There you go. So if you're in tow haul mode and you go to select a drive mode, it won't let you, it doesn't change. And so to get back, that's the reason why this one's a push button. So you can go to drive mode, you can go to multi-terrain select, which I believe I'm on auto, but if I go to any of the others, does it only do it when I'm in drive? Maybe it's only in 4 low. It'll pull up the off-road screens on here, and we'll go over that in the off-road video. Does have sensors here, and I don't know if this will show up on the camera. It may have done it during the on-road driving portion as well, but you can see the sensors there that detect your face. There is a head-up display. It looks like it's just barely showing up on camera. I like the head-up display. I know other people who don't, but I do like it. Surprisingly, just a regular traditional mirror on this. It doesn't have the other camera back there for the camera mirror setting on this one. I don't know if that's an option or not, but I am starting to like them. This one's not bad. You have a decent view out the rear window, but those cameras do help see behind you much better than this mirror, especially when you're loaded, you've got people in the back or cargo or whatever. On this side, various settings. You can turn on the power to the outlet in the back, open and close the rear hatch, turn off the sensors, which is nice when you're towing or whatever. And you have the seat, trip odometer stuff here. Yeah, overall it's not too bad. All that stuff's easy to see, easy to reach. When you're driving, you can't see the trailer brake controller, so that's kind of my view. And there's the brake controller. So the Land Cruiser was the same way. It was just on this side, so you couldn't see it, but either way. Yeah, overall, I mean, you can tell this thing is focused for off-road use. They put the off-road controls here, four-wheel drive low, center diff lock, and rear diff lock. And then your drive modes there, traction control, tow haul mode. Like, it's kind of more designed for off-road than it is for towing, where they hide the towing stuff down there. But overall, yeah, not a bad setup at all, and especially once you get used to it. Of course, you can adjust all the driver information center. So for my towing pages, I decided to do it this way. The center one, I could use more options for the center, but the left and right have a good amount of options. And of course, this would be one that you would want for towing, where you can see your engine oil temperature, tranny temp, engine oil pressure, coolant temperature, your battery voltage, and your fuel. And that actually brings me to one thing on this vehicle that is a bit of a and not an issue, but it's something I don't like, and that's the range. So it doesn't have the longest range. You're looking at under 300 miles or around 300 miles. Maybe that's the price you pay for having the good engine and extra power and all that kind of stuff, but even the Land Cruiser didn't get that great of fuel mileage, and this one's even worse. So I think if I go to here, yeah, it's still up. I'm averaging 10.7, but that includes Oh no, it went away. Right here. I reset that right at the beginning of the towing test, so it includes most of the towing, which is about equivalent to what I drove today, but empty. But anyway, my real average is probably closer. Does this even show? That's just speeds. My real average was probably closer to like 16 miles per gallon. So you don't have great fuel mileage in this thing. Part of that is having full-time four-wheel drive. If it were two-wheel drive option with 4 high and 4 low, you could probably get an extra mile per gallon or 2 out of it. But the fact that you can always drive this thing anywhere without even having to touch this system, I mean, I bet I could climb the steep hill climb. Be sure to watch the off-road video because we'll go over that. But I could probably climb the steep hill climb with this thing in 4 high, not even have to worry about it. So that's the kind of capability it offers. For drivers who don't even want to think about it, you don't have to in this, in most cases. So. This one is earth colored. The Land Cruiser I had with sand. They are actually a little bit different. And anyway, this starts at 75,900, so 76,000 essentially. It has the digital key feature, remote connect stuff you can get from your phone, which comes with the network and whatever. Anyway, it says three-year trial included, but that's $375. Head-up display is $900. The audio system in this is actually really, really good. It's got microphones and speakers, and I think, yeah, right up here is speakers. I've got speakers and microphones everywhere. It doesn't say how many speakers are in it, but premium audio system is $1,140. I like the sound. It sounds great. Premium paint, $500 extra. Tonneau cover, which I didn't see, is $110. Traffic jam assist. I like this feature, but it has to have the digital key or connect subscription. Oh no, those both require the remote connect. Okay. Anyway, so you get the remote connect subscription for 3 years for free anyway. But then if you want to continue, you'll probably have to subscribe to that feature. But traffic jam assist, it helps when you're driving in heavy traffic, especially on freeways. It basically will self-drive through that kind of stuff, which is a lot less stressful. Bitone paint, $350. The cool box is $170. Like I said, I wouldn't get that option. Off-road roof rack, $1,580. I would maybe look for the aftermarket option. I believe there is one already that's lower profile. It's similar platform design with the wide slats going across, but just a lower profile. If that's out there, I'd go with that. Otherwise, I do like this roof rack. Carpet floor mat and cargo mat. I think they're a little mixed up because it's rubber up here in the front, but the rear ones are carpet. Ball mount, I never found that. I didn't need it anyway. I've got my own, and that was $80, $25 for the key glove. And the rock rails are $990, and then wheel locks, bringing the total to $83,225, $1,350 for the destination, which actually brings the real total MSRP to $84,575. And here claims 15 city, 21 highway, 17 combined. I was a little lower than that. Drive maybe a little bit more city, so I was closer to 16. Yeah, not as much as of my commutes on the freeway anymore. And then it's kind of mid-range for smog rating, and fuel economy, it's a bit lower. So not the worst thing, but it's could be better. Cruising on the freeway in this thing is really quite nice. I have all the driver aids on right now, and it just kind of glides along, cruises along rather, quite nicely. The steering assist and all that work really well. It's currently like it'll do its own lane change and keep you centered in the lane. Lane tracing assist is what they call it. The vehicle knows when there are other vehicles around me and lanes next to me and behind me, all that kind of stuff. It picks them all up. It's just pretty aware of everything that's going on. It seems to, it's a little harsh in the corners like that, and it gets really close to the line in some of the tighter corners, but overall it does really quite well. Go ahead and turn it off. I gotta get off the freeway here in a second. But the other thing that I noticed, overall it's very quiet in here. For what it is, it's a brick driving down the road, but you do hear the roof rack, and I wish Lexus had done a little bit better in designing that roof rack, because I think they could lower it a good 3 or 4 inches. When driving around town, the torque The acceleration on this is really good. It's better than the Land Cruiser with the hybrid 4-cylinder. This is twin turbo V6, and it just does pretty well overall. It's maybe a little jumpy, but you can adjust the drive modes, and that has a custom mode too. So if I go here, you can see all the different drive modes, and it does adjust the damping. You can feel a difference in the damping as you go through the different drive modes. It seems to be playing fake engine sounds through the speakers when you put it in Sport or Sport Plus mode. Just a deeper exhaust note, and you can floor it in either mode. So if you're in normal mode, you give it full throttle, you're going to get maximum power out of that, but it's got a different engine note than it has when you're in Sport mode, which to me indicates that it's playing notes or engine noises through the speakers. But really overall, it's easy to drive this smooth. There's been just a couple little things. It's got 4,800 miles on it. Just a few things where it was like slightly jerky. The 10 speed's actually performing pretty well. So I do have issue with 10 speeds right now. So I'll go 3/4 throttle here in a second, and there you go. So it takes just a bit longer to downshift in these 10 speeds, because they got to figure out what gear to be in, and it might be 3 or 4 gears away. And so it's got to think about it, choose the gear. By the time it does all that, it just takes a second for all that to kick in. And this thing, really, there's a lot of torque, and it's easy to hold a gear and still accelerate. It's not really as much of an issue in this 10 speed, and I haven't had any problems with it. I've driven a decent amount, towing empty, and I didn't have problems with the transmission wanting to search for gears for a long time. But it does do quite well. I've just had a few little clunks down low in the RPM range. I should do that again. I don't know how well you can hear the engine sound, so I'm not going to worry about it. But if I get on the throttle about that much, let's go to Sport Plus. So if I get on the throttle here in a second, we'll slow it down. No one behind me, so. And you can see the gauges kind of turn red, but so I'll get on the throttle now. You hear the difference in that versus the other one. So it likes to play exhaust sounds through it, I think. So anyway, it's trying to listen to what I have to say, I guess. Overall, just a great driving vehicle. I highly recommend it if you're choosing between this and the Land Cruiser and you're like, I don't know which one I should get. My vote would 100% be the GX. The extra power, extra payload capacity, extra towing capacity, a little bit better drivability. Hybrids, they've been out a long time and they still don't transition between the hybrid and gas engine real smoothly. You get a jerky feeling, you get a little bit of delay sometimes. That's not brand specific to Toyota. Everybody's hybrid does that. So there's just that, I don't know. If you're going for a high-end luxury vehicle, you don't want that type of feel in it. And so the Land Cruiser certainly has that, and I wouldn't, maybe the Land Cruiser is more the base or lower end model of the GX, but it's still, I much prefer how the GX drives, the responsiveness and the ease of driving smooth in it without any of the jerky motions you get in the Land Cruiser. This is a fun little dirt road, full-time 4-wheel drive, so we're in 4 high because that's just where it likes to hang out all the time. And I'm not worried. This thing's got plenty of ground clearance, easy to drive through all this stuff. I'm not even concerned, not worried about scraping a wheel or anything like that either. Going at a fairly good speed over this road that does have some big washouts. But anyway, thank you for watching Engine Adventures review of this 2024 Lexus GX Overtrail Plus. Really enjoy this vehicle. So between this and the Land Cruiser, I'd take this all day long. I do like the V6 twin turbo much more than the hybrid inline 4, and just the drivability, this thing is wonderful. Great on the freeway, great around town. I mean, if you're doing really long distance road trips regularly and you like to drive really fast, maybe this isn't your choice, but 80 miles an hour, 85 miles an hour and lower, it's quiet, it's smooth, it rides really nice, just cruises. And around town, it's actually not the biggest vehicle, so it drives pretty similarly to me as a mid-sized truck. It's maybe just a tad bit wider, not much though, and it feels like that size of vehicle to me, about the size of a mid-sized truck. So if you're used to that or bigger vehicles, then this thing's no problem to drive at all. Some people feel like this is a little big, but anyway, it's a joy to drive, plenty of capability. Be sure to check out the towing and off-road videos because it does great at both of those as well. Tow rating's 9,000 pounds on this, and if you have a weight distribution hitch, then it can definitely handle that. Anyway, if you liked what you saw, be sure to subscribe, ring the bell so you get notifications when we post new videos, and give me a thumbs up. Also, be sure to comment. If you didn't like it, do all of those things, maybe give me a thumbs down, but be sure to comment and let me know what you didn't like about it. We're out here to improve and bring you the information you want to hear, so be sure and let me know. Thanks again. Have a wonderful day.